I feel like having a bloody good wank.
Every morning. Just gets you out of bed, actually.
Yeah.
This podcast contains topics and language that people may find offensive or triggering and may not be appropriate for younger listeners. We are not medical professionals and any advice should be taken on face value. Please consult your doctor if you have any issues, and please let it be known that all sexual activity should be context appropriate, consent appropriate, age appropriate and species appropriate. Anything else is fair game.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
That was depressing.
That was very depressing. Never guess what we did.
We just recorded an entire episode without pressing play, without pressing record. Well,
Yeah.
Looked like it started recording and wasn't. Just going to pause it for a second. Okay. I don't reckon that's recorded at all.
Oh, no, really?
That has not recorded anything.
Wow. Yes, I have to do this all over again.
Yeah. Hello. Beautiful day, though.
It's an amazing
It's
day.
a lovely summer's day here. I'm absolutely boiling hot.
It's great. It's great. I'm loving it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Today, we're going to be talking about depression.
Okay.
Depression.
I know about that.
Yeah, we do now, because
Yeah.
we just had a whole episode on it.
Let's do it again.
Yeah. Cool. So I guess the reason for the episode is I was recently having a bit of depression.
Which I wasn't aware of, by the way.
No, I'm quite
Didn't
good.
really notice it. You're very private with it.
I think that most people who are depressed
Hide it well.
hide it well.
Mm-hmm. True,
Actually,
actually.
we'll talk about that in a bit as well.
Right, okay.
But
Yeah. It's true. Yeah. I agree.
just give some history, I guess, is that as we said earlier, I'm quite a positive person.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty much positive most of the time these days.
And very emotionally stable as well.
Hmm.
You don't have any highs or lows, or like, get into mood swings or anything like that. You're always kind of, emotionally stable.
Yes, and
The same.
but that's not how I was.
Right.
So as a teenager, I was very, very up and down.
Yep.
As I said, we can't use the S word on
Yeah.
YouTube, but
Before.
yeah, so contemplated that many times, tried it a couple of times.
Oh, wow. I didn't
It
know
was,
that.
yeah, again, quite privately and
Yeah.
failed basically, but and then have had various different peaks and troughs throughout my, again, high highs, low lows throughout my 20s.
Yeah.
And over time, I've just learnt how to deal with it.
Yeah.
But deal with it to a point where I am now very positive all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not deal with it in a, I'm just going to have to deal with this for 6 months and then take drugs and then be fine again.
Yeah.
I've actually managed to get to a point where I can say that I'm starting to get into that kind of downward spiral and I can get myself out of it.
Right, yeah. You can see when it's coming and you know what to do before it gets out of hand, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can't ever really see it coming. You just kind of notice that you're in it.
Yeah, yeah. You can. I don't know. You feel it though. Do you know what I mean? It's weird.
Yeah.
Or you go back to old coping habits that you haven't done for a while. That's what I noticed sometimes.
Yes. Yeah.
I shouldn't be doing that. Why are you doing that? Right, something's wrong.
Yeah.
Reassess.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. And I sort of noticed that I wasn't doing any exercise. I had a back injury, so I wasn't climbing.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get into it.
Yep.
One of the first things that you need to fix is sleep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's unbelievably important to get good sleep.
Mm-hmm. Insomnia is horrific. Absolutely.
Yeah. And there's a number of things you can do to help with sleep that don't involve
Valium.
drugs. Yeah. Certainly things like taking. There's a lot of things that people do that they think help, and then they'll search for science which kind of actually disproves what they want, but they'll make it fit. Like smoking weed to help you get to sleep and stuff like that. It actually just disrupts your sleep. There's no, all of the science says that it doesn't help sleep.
CBD oil, however, that's known to be quite good for easing anxiety and help sleeping, but it's not. You're not smoking it. It's
I
different.
still haven't seen any good research on that.
You know,
No, it all still seems a bit like...
You definitely do research and things. I don't. I just go on like people I know who've done it, their experiences, what they've told me. You know.
Yeah, I would shy away from any sort of non-natural ways of dealing with things. Just because, first of all, you don't need to. Like, if you sort out a whole bunch of other stuff first, like, waking up at a consistent time, getting, giving yourself an 8-hour sleep window. Definitely read Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker. We'll put a link in the description.
I'd be interested in reading that, actually.
Because there's certain things you can do if you've got insomnia.
Right, okay.
Having a bath before you go to bed, making sure your room's cool, like much cooler than you expect.
Right, okay. That helps you sleep?
Yeah.
I would have thought if it was warmer, actually.
Nope.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I try to keep my bedroom like below 18 degrees.
Right, okay.
At all times.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the cold. So, but it's the mechanism of getting colder is actually what percentage of sleep.
Right, okay.
So you warm yourself up and then by having a nice bath or shower or something, and then whether it was 10, 20 minutes later, if you then go to bed, your body's then cooling down and it'll help you get to sleep.
Right, okay.
If you're suffering, if you are failing to get to sleep, what you need to do is get out of bed,
right,
and do something else,
not
screen related. Read a book, but do it in a different room.
Right, okay.
Because what you don't want is to have the bedroom associated with not sleeping.
Yep. That makes sense. It really does. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a whole bunch of stuff in the book which is don't have any blue light before bed.
You want the fire colour. You want warm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fire.
Well, I mean, fires actually put out such little light that actually they don't affect sleep, and it's low level as well, which means that because actually the level of light helps and stuff. But certainly overhead lighting's bad.
Yep. Candles, really.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, you want to work towards having better sleep, and it won't be easy to start with.
Yeah.
Because but things that will help will be things like getting sunlight exposure in the morning. Sunlight. Again, I feel like we've got to talk about this again.
It's okay. I'm in it. It's fine.
Yeah. So red light actually penetrates into your body and charges your mitochondria.
Right. Okay.
Which are the batteries within each cell. So it actually gives you energy, like real, actual energy. And if you get that sleep, so if you get that sunlight early in the morning, it also sort of sets your circadian rhythms for the entire day.
Yeah. Okay.
So by the time you get to the evening time, you should actually be feeling tired. Sunlight also does a whole bunch of more stuff, and you've got vitamin D and all that kind of stuff. So, and most people, especially in this country, are vitamin D deficient, especially in the winter.
Yeah. So, that's why everyone gets SAD. I really suffer badly with that.
Well, in the winter, supplement with vitamin D.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's recommended by most scientists, I think, at this point.
Got one of those lights,
Okay.
bright lights. But it's just like you have to use it for 20 minutes in the morning. But it's so bright. So the first thing you're doing, you get up, put it on, and you've got to obviously be near it. And it's just like that light there. It's just so bright. It's the last thing you want to be next to you first thing in the morning. But it does help though. But it's yeah. But you can just go outside. Yeah. So if it's sunny, but we are in England.
Well, even on a cloudy day, you'll still get a lot more lux exposure from the sun than turning on overhead lights inside.
Yeah.
But the inside lighting is just not bright enough. You can buy specialised lights, but you don't need to. You just go outside.
And then sun as well, isn't it? So like sunrise and sunset. If you could look, they say looking at the sun when it's quite orange and you can actually look at it without hurting yourself, that's a good time to look at the sun, and that actually really helps you as well. It's like a health benefit. And then sunset as well, they say. But I don't know the scientific term behind that. But it actually says it helps.
That is just part of your circadian rhythm. So you have photoganglion cells in your photoreceptors in your eyes, which actually directly affect your brain to say what time of day it is, what should we be doing now. You know, and then you've got adenosine build up throughout the day, which makes you tired. You know, as you sleep, that adenosine then effectively disperses, I guess, or you know, those receptors clear out. And then, which is why also you shouldn't have coffee first thing in the morning.
Okay. Oh, this is something I very much do. First thing in the morning, cup of coffee.
Yeah, stop it. Yeah, so
when can I have it, Dan? I'll have a coffee. It's great.
Scientific literature says 60 to 90 minutes after you wake up.
Okay. So not first thing, bang on in the morning.
No.
All right.
Yeah, so what happens is you've still got a bunch of adenosine in your system when you wake up.
Okay.
And if you go outside and get your sunlight, effectively that will clear out the adenosine. And then when you get back, then if you have a coffee, your adenosine receptors get filled up with caffeine because caffeine mimics adenosine.
Right, okay.
It's actually molecularly looks almost identical.
Okay.
It's really quite interesting.
Yeah, okay.
And so that's the mechanism by which caffeine makes you feel more awake, basically. It doesn't actually make you feel more awake. What it does is it sustains your wake levels at that exact time.
So it keeps you going longer.
Yeah.
Right, okay. That makes sense, actually, yeah.
Yeah, so what you want to do is clear out all the adenosine, get some sunlight, get back, have a coffee, and then what will happen is you won't have that crash in the afternoon.
I get that a lot. That's my favourite part of the day, to have a coffee. Yeah. Is that like 4 o'clock? Because I'm feeling like my eyes are going a bit, and I'm like, that coffee.
That's because you've had your coffee too early.
Yeah, okay. All right,
yeah, so,
I'm going to test this out. Okay.
Yes, yeah, and what you'll find is that actually your coffee will last. Well, you just won't have that crash.
Yeah. Okay. So I won't need that coffee.
No.
At 4 o'clock.
No.
Just be the one coffee in the day. Okay. All right. Okay.
But also, don't have caffeine too late at night. So caffeine has a half-life of 9.5 hours.
I will not sleep. Yeah. My sister, she can have coffee at 10 o'clock at night and then go to sleep. I'm like, how are you doing that? I'm up there chatting away. Blah, blah, blah. So 3 in the morning.
But that's the thing is those people might be able to get to sleep, but it almost certainly is affecting their sleep.
Yes, they're not going into that deep sleep, that REM.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So
interesting.
Yeah. So
you're not science or scientific. Pretty good with this stuff, aren't you?
I'm definitely. I'm not a trained scientist. I'm not a trained.
No, you just
have a scientific mind.
Yeah, totally. You do your research, don't you? Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and there's a lot of research that's out at the moment, and there's a lot more people doing a lot more kind of research on self-care.
Yeah. I find that's hugely important. Right?
Yeah, because effectively it's been ignored for hundreds of years. You know, it was.
I mean, think about it. Back in the 80s, there was no therapy or things like that, steps to well-being, you know.
Well, the 80s is a funny time period. And actually you'll find this in, sort of current rates of cancer and, sort of dementia and all these kind of things is actually around the time that kind of big food started existing, and all these sort of ultra-processed, foods, cereals, You've got Edward Bernays, who was probably the most evil man that's ever lived on the planet.
Right.
Who's
he?
Oh God.
What is he?
We'll link to a podcast on him. He's basically responsible for manipulating the masses.
Right. Okay.
So he was the guy that came up with marketing campaigns for bacon in America.
Right. Okay.
One of his first things, where he said, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. And then they put that out in advertising, and then everyone started eating bacon, sausages, eggs, and stuff in the morning.
Yeah.
And and it still persists now.
Yeah, it does.
People think that breakfast is the most important meal of the day.
It really isn't. I actually don't want to eat in the morning. I want a smoothie, and that's as far as I go.
I haven't had breakfast for about 3 years.
Right, okay. I feel like I've still got the energy as well when I'm up. I don't need it.
Yeah. He also he ended up creating the Banana Wars, which was a horrific situation between islands.
Right.
And was basically responsible for. I think he actually wrote a book on it, which basically says stupid people can be manipulated, and we can do whatever we like with them.
Wow, he wrote a book about that. How bloody arrogant! Jesus.
Well, he's just like, if we can tell these people that, here is the next big thing.
Yeah.
Give us your money for it. People will do it.
Yeah.
And if you convince them that it's somehow scientifically proven or
easy.
Well, they did it with smoking.
Yeah.
Smoking's really good for you. Oh, amazing. Yeah.
But I reckon back in the time that's what they thought it was. They didn't know it was bad. You know what I mean?
But this is
back
it.
So cowboy days.
But people are still doing that now. People still say, people will come up with a scientific paper which says, I don't know, ashwagandha stimulates testosterone growth. And then you actually look at all the studies and you go, well, they've been selling this they've made millions and millions of pounds or dollars or whatever on the fact that people are buying it as a testosterone booster.
Right, okay.
It actually doesn't at all.
Right, okay.
There is actually research that it helps deal with stress.
Oh, okay.
So it helps manage cortisol levels. Right. It actually dulls cortisol, which you might want if you get stressed.
I could do that.
Yeah. Don't take it too early in the day because you effectively want elevated levels of cortisol.
Right, yeah. So you're going to be quite tired from it. So it's going to make you quite relaxed.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so ashwagandha is sort of later on in the day.
Okay, it's like a healthy Valium. Nowhere near as strong.
Yeah. Yeah, again, that's something that will help. Yeah, I guess my sort of protocol list of these are the things I know will get me out of depression, feeling great and kind of back on track is, I guess we'll do a typical day then. Get good sleep. I'm going to bookend the whole thing with sleep. Wake up at my regular time. I work 9 to 5, so I normally wake up around 8ish. Go for my walk. So I work from home, so I just sort a bunch of stuff out around the house, and then by the time I start work at 9 is about the time I'll have my first coffee, and that means I won't then have any more caffeine throughout the entire day, unless it's the weekend and I'm using caffeine to work out.
Okay.
We'll get into that in a bit as well. In the summer, lunchtime, I'll go for a swim in the sea. Cold exposure.
Love it. Love swimming.
Yeah. Elevates dopamine levels by 2.5 times for 3 or 4 hours.
Oh, well, okay. Yeah,
it's ridiculous. Cold exposure is very, very good for you. If you don't have that, then cold shower. Have your normal shower, and then cold as you can possibly manage it for as long as you possibly can manage it.
I sort of do it at the sauna, and they've got the drop bucket.
Yeah.
Get in the sauna, drop bucket.
Yeah.
Back in the sauna.
Yeah. Theoretically, though, it would be better if you could sustainably have cold exposure.
Oh, okay. So, yeah. I could do a drop bucket in the shower.
Yeah, cold shower and then in the sauna.
Right, okay, yeah. It's just that nice shock. That instant shock. It's just something really yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a really nice slap in the face. Really nice.
Yeah. We'll talk about that on a different episode.
Slap in the face.
Another good stuff. Then achieving things at work.
Yeah,
I think is a good thing as well, because
I think being aware of the things that you achieve during your day as well, and just going well done to yourself, it's giving yourself a pat on the back. I think it's so important to do that.
Well, it's that progression. Depression often feels like you're not going forward.
Yeah, That's why swimming's fantastic.
Or you're going backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, going for a walk, actually, you feel like you're going forward.
Exactly. Even go for a drive. I love that. Just, ooh.
Yeah, I would say avoid that in cities and towns.
Yeah. Like a country drive.
You just end up being more stressed.
Yeah. True.
Unless you've got a motorcycle and you can get out of that traffic pretty quick.
Mm.
But then riding a motorcycle also creates acute stress, which is good for elevating cortisol, which means that then you have lower baseline level cortisol.
Mm-hmm.
So, so doing something that progresses somebody else's, or that just something that makes you feel like you've achieved something.
Yeah, absolutely.
It can be really low
making
level.
your bed sometimes. You know what I mean? Things like literally making your bed, having a shower, because depression, you don't even want to have a shower. You just don't give a shit, So
yeah.
Doing that is just a big plus, that those simple things.
Yes, and then just slowly building on that every day.
Because I think also for instance, for you, you're working from home, so you're not leaving. You don't need to leave to go to work. So if you're depressed and you're at home, you've got to get yourself out the door, and it's very hard to do that when you're depressed. And so if you're working from home, that's even harder. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yes, which will bring me on to another one of my protocols
to help. Okay, yeah.
So lunchtime, swim in the sea, some form of cold exposure, and you can do that any point in the day. You can do it in the morning, in the evening, whatever. It's really good for you. Really spikes your cortisol levels, which means that then you're not creating anxiety yourself.
Yeah.
After work, some sort of acute stress. For me, it's climbing. Or motorcycling.
Yep.
Not that I've ever broken the speed limit.
Oh no. For me, it's yoga and swimming. Absolutely love it. Yoga's a big one for me. Love it. Yeah,
but doing something hard. So something that is
challenging. You mean?
Yeah.
Yoga can be challenging. Stand on one foot for ages. It's bloody hard.
Yeah. Or really going to the gym, working out. Going to the gym, working out is unbelievably boring, though.
Yeah, it's having a passion for something, like you going climbing, for instance. You enjoy climbing, so
I enjoy going to the gym now.
Okay, yeah.
Only because I have certain podcasts that I only listen to at the gym.
Right. Yeah.
And if I'm not going to the gym, I can't listen to that podcast.
Ah, okay. So that's what I do. If I go to the gym, I like to go to the sauna. So I've done it sometimes where I just go to the sauna. I'm like, right, you can't go to the sauna until you've done 50 laps swimming, and then you can treat yourself to the sauna. So it's almost what I do to myself, so like,
you have
get myself,
have your own sort of reward mechanism.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then you've achieved it, so then you feel better, and then you've done something nice, which actually also is good for you.
Yeah, exactly. And for yourself on your own, which is lovely as well. I think doing things on your own like that, I've got a lot of friends who like to do things together, but I actually appreciate my time alone going to the gym. Yeah. It's just for me, and it's my time. I find that like...
Yeah, I never go alone. Yeah. Also, there's full of gym people.
Yeah, exactly. I don't really want to talk to anybody. I'm like, it's crowd time. Yeah.
And I guess throughout all of this, I wouldn't necessarily... I would say that eating good quality food is also
not
helpful.
Processed. You mean? Yeah.
No processed food. Yeah. I don't care what diet you have. I don't care if it's vegan, keto, carnivore, whatever.
Yeah.
But no processed food. Yeah. Because it's just not food. So if you look at the ingredients on a packet and you don't know what some of it is, don't eat it. So it's really, really hard. But I don't eat normal bread anymore. I can only eat sourdough.
Yeah, I love sourdough. Yeah, it's just a bit more expensive. That's the only thing. When you are getting healthy and not eating processed foods, you are spending a bit more. That's the only problem with that.
The thing that I found, so I've been doing this for about 3 months now,
okay,
is that I just don't need as much food. I eat probably about a third of the amount of food I used to eat.
Right, okay, yeah. Do you love food, though?
But if you don't eat any processed food, it all tastes good. You know, if I make a sandwich now,
Yeah.
like it sounds like something from a gourmet menu. I can only eat sourdough bread with salmon and, you know,
Rocket
spinach and we choose a green of your choice. You know, with maybe some tomatoes and and cheese is still fine. It's still not considered ultra processed.
What I do with food is if I'm feeling really low as well, I take myself out on a date. So I go out, get myself dressed up with a book, and I'll go out for dinner and have a really nice evening just to myself. That makes me feel really empowered, and I have a really nice evening, and it's just me on my own.
Yeah.
I eat something really fancy, and it's nice. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I actually listen to my spirits doing that. I enjoy doing it.
I think that someone who is less confident than you probably wouldn't.
Yeah, I suppose being in depression, that'd be quite hard to do. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So
yeah, very true. Actually, I don't know if I'd do it if I was quite depressed. I'd actually struggle with that.
Yeah.
So true.
But I think, you know, not having, you know, breakfast cereal, some crappy, you know, sugar, you know, Pop Tarts, and then for lunch having, you know,
crumpets. But I'm
Ovis and it's so bad. But it's just rubbish. Yeah. Look at the ingredients on packets. Yeah. It will make a massive difference to your life. Cutting out all of those sort of, you know, processed seed oils and
but when you're depressed, that's why you want that comfort food, don't you? The takeaways, the pizza.
Yeah,
you know?
I guess seed oils is a different one because it's there's no real evidence to say that seed oils are bad, but the things like rapeseed oil is worse for you because it's more processed.
Right.
So
Okay.
Crap in it. Olive oil is perfectly fine,
but not to cook with. So olive oil is really good to have in salads and everything, but cook with it. Apparently, something in it changes, and it's actually not good for us.
That's more to do with the smoke point of the oil.
Right. Okay.
Just cook at a lower temperature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's.
I mean, this is just all chinwag that I've had with my mates. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's fine.
I don't have scientific proof about that.
Yeah, I'll look it up but I think it's more to do with the smoke point of the oil.
Okay.
And so, if you're not using it in anger, right? I mean, if you're not using it to sear something, then you're probably all right. You know, actually cooking with it in it is fine.
Like having a steak and you want it on super high, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, good quality food, it makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
You'll end up eating because a lot of people get depressed, end up comfort eating.
Well, exactly. Yeah, you want the comfort food.
But comfort food, it's really strange. So since I've stopped eating any ultra processed food, I have zero cravings for comfort foods.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Literally none.
Do you find you don't get tired as well? Do you know if you overeat, you just get that tired state?
Yeah. Yeah.
I find you don't get that anymore as well.
I don't get it at all anymore.
Especially if you don't eat as much, because they say you should eat 80% of until you're full. So then you don't actually go into that state of like, I want to have a little nap now, you know?
Yeah, but what you tend to find is, you know, because it's expensive, you just have a bit less of it anyway. Well, so if I'm making a sandwich if I'm making just a super basic ham and cheese sandwich, I would use Parma ham because it's only pork and salt.
Okay.
I would use any old cheese you want because most cheese is fine.
Edamame.
And sourdough bread. And actually, the way that sourdough is, I would because it comes in like either the slices are tiny or massive. So I'd take, if it's a big one, I'd just cut it in half, and you end up with a sandwich which is actually kind of half the size of a sandwich that you normally eat. Okay. Eat that, you're just as full as if you had a giant sandwich.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So I tend to find that you tend to it's much easier to regulate your eating. Because what's going in your mouth is what your brain thinks is going in your mouth is actually what's going into your stomach, which is, you know, then tells your vagus nerve back to your brain that actually it's got what it needs.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Like as soon as you start having sort of artificial sweeteners and things like maltodextrin and stuff like that, emulsifiers. So if you eat a regular shop-bought piece of bread, and making your own bread is fine, by the way, do that. But if you buy a shop bought piece of bread, they extract all the moisture out of it, because moisture is effectively what means that bacteria will grow.
Right.
In it.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
And then in order to make it taste moist, they'll just pump it full of emulsifiers. So when you put that bread in your mouth, and this is my own analogy, I think, but I've heard it from a Royal Institute lecture actually on No UPF, which we'll also link, is that your brain thinks, right, well, this thing has to have moisture, right? Because it's got to have water in it. So then you put it in your mouth, it goes into your stomach, and your stomach goes, there's no fucking moisture in this. No, quick, have a drink.
Right, okay.
Oh, right, well, I'm thirsty. Right, okay, well, I also need some sugar. Right, so I'm going to have a Diet Coke.
Okay.
Right, so your brain is going, right, well, I'm going to get sugar, and you put it on your tongue, and it goes, right, now I'm going to get sugar, and I'm going to get liquid.
Yeah.
And then it goes in, and what your stomach goes is, actually, this isn't fucking sugar either.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to...
It's like tricking the body.
So now it's going to go, right, well, I still need sugar here.
Yeah.
Because I need carbohydrates to function.
Yeah.
So I'm still hungry.
Yeah. Okay.
So you've put in, you've put in a sandwich and a Coke, and your brain's now going, right, well, I need more sugar. I need more. And so then you're like, well...
So then you're looking for something else to eat. So
yeah. Oh, well, I'll have that piece of cake.
Yeah.
At which point, your body is more conscious of what is... It's kind of going...
I'm not done here.
I don't know what I need more stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas if you don't eat any ultra-processed food, your body just stops doing that.
Right, okay.
You have a sandwich, you go, right, am I still hungry? Yeah. Okay. Right. We'll have a bit of fruit. Right. Am I still hungry? No. Right. And also the ratios within that food are correct. If you eat an apple, it's got the correct amount of sugar to fiber to to fats, and like everything that you eat has, if it's not ultra processed, is food. So if you go back to the 80s, everything was still food. Now, hardly anything's food. Like you go into a supermarket, it's full of utter shit.
Even the vegan stuff as well, you know?
Yep, absolutely.
So,
vegan, keto.
Yeah,
and a lot.
There's so much more out there for vegans now, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's healthy. That's...
Yeah, and there's a lot of people that think they have celiac disease because they can't process anything. Because
oh, that's my phone. What time is it?
Oh,
shit. 7 o'clock. I've got to be unpracticed.
See you in the next one.
We're wearing different clothes now.
Yeah.
That's true.
Don't worry, nobody will know.
No. Well, if they're only listening, then we're all right.
Those who are confused, I had to run off halfway through the episode. So we're carrying on where we left off.
Yeah.
So we talked about
food,
sleeping well, getting up in the morning, getting some sunshine, going for a bit of a walk, kind of trying to get through your day, making small goals, doing small things, making a list for yourself, and, just going through and doing tiny things. So my list includes things like making a coffee, and,
making your bed,
feeding the fish, making the bed, all that kind of thing. Just little tiny wins, which just make you feel like you're achieving stuff during the day.
Yeah.
So then I guess after work is where I normally focus. Sort of straight after work is exercise. So I go climbing, which also has a sort of social aspect to it too.
It's a really supportive kind of... I've been climbing with you a couple of times, and it's a real supportive community as well. Yeah. If that makes sense. It's really, really nice. Everyone's like helps each other out. You're like, how do we figure out how to get up there? And everyone's like, well, if you put your foot there, and I'm like, I really like this. This is really nice and really gender neutral as well, which I really liked. So yeah, really cool.
Yes. So and if you're feeling bad, and you haven't been for ages, and you're in a sort of depressed state, then actually just forcing yourself to just get out and do something.
Yeah.
Just go, right, I'm going to go there. I'm going to be there for 10 minutes, 20 minutes. You know,
it's just trying to get out of the house, isn't it? That's hard sometimes.
Yeah, and not beating yourself up about the fact that you haven't been for 3 weeks, 3 months, whatever. You know, I herniated a disc a few months ago and wasn't able to go for ages. And I sort of didn't want to go back because I was worried that I was going to be rubbish at it. And
Overthinking it, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like once you do it, it's fine. It's just the overthinking bit that's like... Yeah.
Same with going to the gym. You know, if you go to just force yourself out the house, get into the gym and just do something, anything.
Yeah. Even just the sauna.
Yeah.
You just sit there, but it's just so nice.
Yeah. And then worst thing for me, if I'm not feeling great, is screens.
What do you mean, like TV screen?
TV screen, computer screen, anything like that. It screws my sleep up.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've just wasted loads of time, and I just feel terrible about it.
Yeah.
I did it the other day. I'd had a really heavy exercise day the day before, so I'd been like 20,000 steps, and also been to the gym, and also been to climbing and stuff like that. And then I woke up the next day, and I was actually just feeling like totally drained. And I watched TV all day.
Right. Okay.
And I just felt rubbish afterwards.
Yeah.
And I should have forced myself up to just to get out and do something.
Yeah.
I ride a motorcycle, so the next day I was still feeling pretty drained and feeling terrible because I'd had a rubbish day the day before, and just forced myself to go out on a motorbike and go and sit in a cafe and
have a coffee.
Have a coffee.
Just chill for a minute.
Motorcycle cafes, you tend to sit around and everyone comes and talks to you about your motorcycle.
Yeah.
It's a bit dull. They meet well.
Look how big my bike is. My bike's really big, mate. Look at my bike.
How many carburetors have you got on yours? I don't know, mate. Just
it's really fast.
Yeah, just get on it and ride. Yeah. And then, but yeah, I tend not to watch TV at all anymore, and I kind of think that is probably one of the reasons why I'm so positive all the time.
Right. Okay. I really like zoning out to a film, though. I love my films.
Don't mind a film.
You know what I mean? But yeah, it's got to be a good film, and like I like to research my films, and like I don't just stick on anything.
Yeah.
Like binge watch stuff. I'm not a binge watcher. That's where I feel like I'm wasting my life.
Yeah. I can't binge watch anything at all. Really. I just feel terrible at the end of doing that.
Yeah. I feel like I'm wasting my life.
Yeah.
I actually feel hear the clock ticking in my back of my head going, you're wasting your life.
Yeah. And so then of an evening, I pretty much always go out. I'll just go and watch some live music. You can just go by yourself.
That's the lovely thing about music. It's true, actually. If you don't want to talk, you just don't have to. You can just put yourself to the side, sit there and watch. And that's really nice. When I first came into the music scene and I was going to the open mics, I would go on my own, and it was just nice to be able to sit there and not actually talk to anybody. I'm like, just see what it's all about.
Yeah.
And it's just
you tend to find the people at those places are pretty friendly. Fairly safe environments.
Yeah.
They're not sort of anxiety inducing.
Unless you're getting on stage and playing,
Yeah. Whereas if you're going to a Weatherspoons, there's no music.
No music.
No music. You can either join that group of horrible people or that group of horrible people.
I used to be that horrible person.
I've definitely been that horrible person at one point.
It's good though, it's really cheap.
Yeah. Which is fine if you're going with nice people, friends or something, but it's not great if you're, and it is anxiety inducing. It's not pleasant.
Music's the key, basically, for like healing and therapy. It's just fantastic.
Yeah.
Watching it, playing it, love it.
Yeah, and then just having social interaction as well. And if you're, in a place where you can be outside, you've also got the sun going down and that kind of stuff, which also helps with sleep.
Yeah. Sleep's the hardest one, though, I think, with depression. It's really hard to get sleep, when you're depressed.
Well, that's
so many kicks in, it's horrible.
But that's why getting sunlight early is very useful.
Yeah.
Plus exercising, if you're doing sort of 8 to 15,000 steps a day, and you're getting sunlight early in the day, and you're not over caffeinating yourself and drinking loads of sports drinks at 8 o'clock in the evening, you will actually just sleep much better. But with sleep, read Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker. It's a really interesting book, and I think almost a necessary read for life. But yeah, I think it's it gives you a whole bunch of tips in there, like being consistent, keeping your room temperature low, having a bath before you go to bed, or an hour before you go to bed, so your body's cooling down. Like there's a whole bunch of stuff in there for sleep, and maybe even do a whole episode on it. And
it'd be nice to write a list, to just remind yourself as well, because I don't know about you, but when I've been in depression, I can't think straight. I can't even think to put a pizza in the oven. I'm like, I don't even know how to put pizza in the oven right now. I'm like overwhelmed with pain or whatever it's been through, because it's grief, for instance,
Yeah.
The simplest of tasks seem absolutely impossible. So I would have written a list, like, I've got someone to go, can you just write me a list of what, so I get up in the morning and it's like, okay, get out of bed, make your bed. Do you know what I mean? It's there to see. You know what I mean? Like,
well, maybe we should write that list.
Okay.
And actually just give it to people in the description.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. Yeah.
Here's a list of things that you can do. Start by doing one of them. Yeah. Aim to do.
They're so simple as well, but it's just at that point you can't think about it.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be patronising, because it's not patronising, but it's like you just can't think straight.
Something I've done recently as well is as soon as it gets to being dark outside,
right,
I switch my phone to red mode.
Right. Okay.
So,
oh, cool.
So there's a way you can set it up where you press the button 3 times and it takes out all the blue light.
Right. Okay.
And then my phone's just like that all evening.
Right. Okay.
And so I can still see messages and stuff, and I can still use it if I need to call someone or whatever. Or still got stuff coming in, but it doesn't screw up my sleep.
Yeah.
I've actually found that kind of helps as well.
Oh, right. Okay. And
it means, like so I always fall asleep to podcasts.
Yeah.
Hopefully you can fall asleep to ours.
I don't know, it's a good thing or a bad thing. Like they fall asleep, it's like, this is boring, perfect, put it on.
I think it's absolutely fine. I would welcome if people used us as a tool. Yeah, and I put a 30-minute kind of timer on it to say you shut it off after 30 minutes. And then when I wake up in the morning, inevitably I just have to go back 29 minutes and I'm and I can listen to it and I can listen to it again. Because I fall asleep really fast these days.
Right, okay.
And I'm pretty good at waking up as well.
Yeah.
And actually, when I was depressed, it was just trying to get out of bed was a nightmare.
I was literally going to say that's when you know that you're not good at getting out of bed. You just don't want to see the day, do you?
Yeah.
You like do anything to cancel everything and go, no, I don't have to go into work today. And it's such horrible place to be in. I don't want to go back there.
Yeah.
I'm going to write myself a list now just in case.
Yeah. But then also social interaction. So if you once you start going out to places and you don't need to spend a lot of money, you can go there and drink water.
Yeah.
Especially if there's stuff going on, and if it could be even if it's karaoke or just something where you can visually watch something.
Yeah, and you're not forced to be in conversation if you don't want to because you're feeling so anxious.
Yeah, and gradually over time you'll sort of build up groups of friends and stuff, and then just having that kind of social interaction within a sort of community of people is actually sort of proven to increase longevity, actually.
Yeah,
and you'll end up with having all sorts of random conversations like we have. Yeah, like we do now.
Yeah.
And it's quite a cathartic thing, and it's like just a lovely thing to be able to chat to people.
I think when it is a point where you know that you're like, okay, I can go out and do stuff. Before that, it's very much like, okay, meeting up with friends one-to-ones, and that's all I could fathom doing before really wanting to go out or go to a live music night or something like that,
Yeah.
But it was even that stepping out and reaching out to somebody and going, hi, do you want to meet up for a chat?
Yeah.
It felt at that point, it feels like you're burdening them just even asking that because you're in such a bad place. You're like, So once you get past that step and you're actually one-to-one with your friends again, which is so important, that's the start, really.
Yeah.
If you've been isolating yourself for so long, And then,
Actually, I had that during lockdown.
yeah. I think everyone probably felt that.
Just sort of started off all right. First 3 months of lockdown was the greatest thing on earth.
Yeah.
And then you just sort of start spiraling into, oh God,
What do I do?
What am I doing here?
Yeah.
What is life?
Yeah.
It's really tough.
I hated it. I really struggled.
Yeah. And actually,
Hated
a friend of mine reached out to me and just went, I'm having a bit of a bad time at the moment. Should we go out for a walk? And I'm like, I'm having a really bad time at the moment. Let's go out for a walk.
Yeah.
And we just met up in the New Forest, well, not the New Forest, went out to one of the heathlands around here. And actually it was pissed down with rain. And then we got to a point where we got stuck.
Mm-hmm.
And then we basically didn't know how to get from one side of the river to the other because the actual bridge was flooded.
Oh no!
So we ended up having to roll our trousers up and took our shoes and socks off and actually just walked through it barefoot. So it's just kind of
quite adventurous.
Yeah.
Which is nice. Yeah.
That
humans are not meant to be isolators,
No.
Like it. You know what COVID's done for me? It's made me realise how much I do not want to go to prison. You know what I mean? I really don't want to be breaking the law.
No.
Not like I do break the law, but I just couldn't think of anything worse. Stuck in a room, yeah.
Yeah. No, that sounds terrible.
It does. Mm-hmm.
And I guess that would be those are all the things I would start trying to implement whenever I'm feeling down.
Mm.
But I think we might have said this at the start of the podcast, but actually, if you have got depression, you are having real trouble, then go and see a doctor.
Yeah.
You might need to get prescribed. All of these different life tools are only useful if you can use them and implement them.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've been prescribed something by a doctor, keep taking it until such time as
don't listen to us. Listen to your doctor.
Listen to your doctor, but also start implementing these things, and then hopefully after if you can talk to your doctor and say, right, I'm trying to implement these things.
Yeah.
Can I lower my dose of whatever? And just slow progression, bits and pieces, just tiny things every day, and eventually you end up
feeling normal again. Everything. It's almost like colour comes back into the world again. Everything goes grey for a bit. And all of a sudden you're just like, I see colour again.
Yeah.
How interesting.
Yeah. And
it's going to be hard to do those things. Those things become normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And being positive, I find being outwardly positive, even if I'm not feeling it inside, actually helps me to feel out inside positive.
I know what you mean. I totally agree, actually. Yeah.
Like for me, if someone asks me how I am, I'm always good.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who's just died or or how terrible I felt inside, because
it depends who I'm talking to. There's like 5 or 6 people who, if they ask me that question, I'll be like, I had a really shit day, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
fine. But to the general of humanity, it is hey, yeah, great, cool.
Obviously, your life partner or whatever, your mum or your dad,
exactly, close mates,
complain away.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you're out in public, everything's amazing.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody wants to hear it. Nobody wants to, I don't want to hear strangers' problems. I'm like, I don't know you.
Yeah.
Like, what can I do with that?
Yes, and possibly no one can help you.
No, exactly. Except yourself.
If you tell them all that's going to happen is you're going to end up with a depressing conversation that's going to make you feel worse.
Yeah, don't need that. No.
Yeah.
I don't know. With depression, it's taking your time, and self-care is like the most important thing. I think I said that before last time as well.
Yeah.
It's just, being kind to yourself and doing something that you like just for yourself.
Yeah.
Actually loving yourself, trying to love yourself, because you hate yourself, don't you, really, when you're in depression? So it's kind of getting that self.
I would go as far as to say if I'm feeling, because I go through peaks and troughs of fitness.
Right.
Like I'm overweight at the moment. I've got about 4 kilos to lose before I'm back to where I'd like to be.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, we've got a spin-off thing that I'm doing with Martin at the moment.
Oh, okay.
Where we're going to do some fitness stuff for the same reason, really.
Right. We're talking about self-care, and you're talking about...
Oh, yeah. So actually, just things like shaving, grooming, like that kind of stuff. Just do it.
Yeah.
You know, actually go to the bathroom, have a shave, brush your teeth. You know, I find my oral hygiene is normally totally spot on. But if I'm depressed, then I can't even be bothered to brush my teeth in the morning.
Yeah.
But actually, I find that if I make a conscious effort to go and, you know, use a, you know, floss and then brush my teeth for, you know, 3 minutes and then mouthwash and then, you know, like I actually genuinely feel better. You know, shower, you know, if you trim your body hair or shave your legs or do whatever you like, whatever makes you feel like you're
human.
Kind of you can get out there and do stuff. You know, actually, I like tan.
Go for Well, that actually it gives you a little bit of a boost of energy as well.
It does, yeah,
because it's got sun ray like in it. What's this word? I can't think of it.
UV. it's got the sun in it.
It's got the real sun in a bed.
yeah, and actually, you know, as much as you shouldn't recommend sunbeds for anything, because they're really bad for cancer and that kind of stuff. But
once in a blue moon,
for the sake of 8 minutes or whatever.
If you did that once every 6 months, I think you're going to be all right.
Yeah, you're probably not going to die.
Yeah,
don't get addicted to them.
Got vitamin D in it.
Yeah. But yeah, all self tanning stuff.
Yeah,
you know, just put a bit of effort into looking. Just into
I love
appearance.
dressing up when I'm feeling great. Just dressing up really fancy just makes me feel a million times better.
Yeah.
You know, so even it's just getting out of your PJs and into something nice. That's great. But yeah. So true. Feel good any way you can to try and feel good where it doesn't involve hurting anyone in the process. Go for it. Bloody go for it. Yeah.
Oh, well, we can tie this in with some sex as well. Masturbation.
I used to do that. Well,
I feel like having a bloody good wank
every morning just gets you out of bed. Actually.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah. I'm more of a sort of mid-morning lunchtime.
Oh yeah, you go back to bed. No, I'm once I'm up, I'm up.
I know, I can wank anyway.
Good for you.
The car, in the office.
Brilliant.
Desk. My keyboards never work for very long.
So sticky. But yeah, definitely masturbation is a definite dopamine hit. That is lovely.
Yeah.
Really nice.
Yeah, and if you've got a partner or someone available that
bloody fantastic.
To, go for a massage. You know, this is okay to do this. Even if you feel like a piece of shit. Yeah. It's kind of, actually, lying on a bed with someone giving you a massage just feels amazing.
It really is. It really is.
Again, it's all
so good for your mental health.
Yeah. So again, it's all that dopamine, isn't it? You've just little bits.
Yeah. Depression sucks.
Yeah, it does.
Fucking
so I guess good luck, everybody.
Yeah.
Try. Hopefully that will help a little bit. And if you're not going to, definitely go and see a doctor. And don't do anything stupid.
Yeah. No.
One thing that wouldn't be stupid is if you click the like button for the video.
That'd be nice.
And comment for the algorithm and subscribe to the channel, and that helps us out.
That'd be great.
That makes us look good.
Yeah.
And then might get out to other people that might find some of this stuff useful.
Yeah, definitely.
So that is my perspective. That is what I do for myself. Might be different things for you guys or you. I hope that's helpful.
Okay, it has been helpful.
Yeah.
Good chat, Dan. Let's do this again. Same time next week.
Cool. Bye.
See you later.